But a lot of these new
ordering
stores, they're opening up the brick and the shops,
Mhm.
but they got stream rooms in the back, and they
Sure.
got people running that 24/7. Is that not something that you have considered?
I just don't think that is a sustainable business model.
Welcome back, guys, to the PokeRadar podcast. This is episode 11. Recording well ahead of time here because we'll be going to Japan. This is coming out, I think, the week after I get back from Japan. But today I have another very special guest, one that we haven't talked with before. I have known you for a while, but we've never really had any one-on-one discussions and deep dives into each other's lives. So I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better and also talk about the card shop you own. So today we have Mason, Card and All Gaming. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate you. I'm probably about 100 more episodes ahead of what I should be compared to the other people that you've had on before. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But hey, I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to it.
This is well overdue because I had you on my list before I ended the original podcast years and years ago, because you had definitely started your YouTube channel at that point.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, you might have had it way before that, but I didn't know about it because I didn't know you. But yeah, you have a YouTube channel, Card and All Gaming. Is that a play on words for Cardinals because you're from St. Louis?
Louisville also has the mascot of Cardinal. So yes, the Cardinals here in Louisville. It is.
Oh, you're in Louisville. I thought you were. Okay. Oh, I thought you were in Missouri.
No, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. Okay.
A worse step down. It's like if you had to be like the Louisiana of Missouri, you'd have Kentucky. So that'd be us. So
okay. I don't know this part of the country very well. I've only been here a short time. Well, I'm in Texas now. I don't even know if this is part of that country.
Nope, very far away, but it's
very far away. So there we go. There's my the knowledge that I have on the regions and the world itself. But
yeah. But no, that was me. That was me, Cardinal. That was my idea. That was nice. my little pun that I wanted to put in the name. So
I'm guessing.
I think it's cute. People don't get it until like they'll read it and they don't put it together, but then you'll say it out loud and they're like, "Oh, see what you did there." So,
gotcha. Yeah, and they have to maybe be a sports fan to also get it at the same time.
Yes, also one of those things for sure.
I get like, do you sell sports cards? Are you into sports cards?
Nope. Just thought it was cute.
Okay, so we
sell cards and all things gaming. So Card and All Gaming was just kind of where we were at.
So you took the sports reference and
just
didn't do any sports.
Just took it as free advertising. Yes.
Gotcha.
Pretty much.
Okay. So yeah, back to your YouTube channel a little bit. And obviously this is going to be a very focused conversation on being a store owner. You're the first store owner that I've had on the podcast. And I'm very interested in, and I'm sure the listeners are very interested on the dynamics of owning an actual store, because we're all posers. We just buy and sell cards online, pretend like we know stuff. And you got the real hobbyists, the real people who like build up and make sure this thing survives by owning a local store and building real communities and not just fake online personas. So calling out everybody, including myself.
Yeah, we're doing great here, John. Don't know where we're at. Just make fun of everybody. Yeah. No, that's kind of like the whole purpose of my YouTube channel. It's kind of like a little bit of Alpha Investments, a little bit of Danny Phantom, kind of that kind of vibe, kind of mixed it all together. And that's really what I was kind of going for. And that is the reason why I started it. It was just to kind of educate people. There's a lot of mystique around like distribution and allocations and what does that mean? Where does product come from? How do they determine who gets what? All that stuff is really kind of unknown to most people. Most people maybe don't even think about it or even consider that it's really complex and weird.
Yeah, no,
whole network of where things go. So that's definitely like try to educate people about that and like just owning a store in general. If people want to start up a store, which I typically strongly advise against, but they still want to, they can watch some of my stuff and get some ideas of some do's and don'ts, or just how I do things or how we've done things.
Yeah,
We've
everybody
been
says
in business for like 8 years now with a brick and mortar. So don't do the same mistakes I did. Just listen to mine and then learn from mine. Is basically
it's funny. A lot of people, including store owners themselves, say don't open up stores.
Yes.
And I talked with Dan a lot about kind of the levels of, I guess, knowledge or insight that you can have in this business, in any business, understanding that there are distributors and there's wholesaling and all this stuff. People get deals if they're big enough with
for sure
companies like eBay and all that. So like teaching the world about that, because I've talked about this. As a kid, I had no idea that booster boxes existed. I was buying packs, and then I later in life was like, oh, you can get a box, and then I didn't even realize that had guaranteed hits and like ratios and all that stuff. And then you learn, oh, you can get a case, and then you learn, oh, I can get a pallet, I can get a semi truck full if you're big enough and buying enough.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's these levels that a lot of people don't understand to business. If you're really looking to get deeper into this type of stuff and not just be a hobbyist. I mean, being a hobbyist is perfectly fine. It's great. But for me, I love, and for you, it's amazing to have your hobby put food on the table and be the thing you do every day.
Yeah. I say having a brick and mortar is kind of the hobby on hard mode. It's a lot of added expenses and stuff that a lot of people don't have otherwise. So, if you think you're making a profit doing it online or being a small time, maybe sell singles or slabs or whatever, open a brick and mortar is just really just flipping the switch to make things more difficult in most situations. It's a lot of people like dream of opening a card shop. I get emails all the time from people saying, oh, I'd love to have a card shop one day and open up my own store. And baby steps is what I tell people. You really want to kind of ease into it. Don't attach yourself to too much debt or a commitment. Most business leases these days, there's no year leases anymore. Most people are looking for 5 years. You can maybe get a 3-year in a bad area and have them raise the rent on you maybe later on. But 5 years, that's a long time to commit to anything. So you gotta really be sure and kind of, again, work some stuff out before you sit down and actually go brick and mortar, because if there's a lot of ways to screw up. And like I said, once you flip the switch of having all those expenses, it goes from a hobby to a real job real fast. So that's just what I tell a lot of people when they approach me. It's like, just make sure there's a need for it. There's a community that's gonna have that want a place to play and go to shop. If you're doing fine online, I say stay there, because it's just a lot of added headaches and expenses that you wouldn't have to have otherwise.
All right. Well, I want to dive a lot into this. I don't know how open you are, but I'll ask questions.
How open am I? John, you can ask me any question. I'll answer any question.
What's your address? How much money do you make?
I can give you the business address. That's just for advertising at that point.
That's
what we're here. Screen. Go ahead, put it on there.
This episode is sponsored by Cardinal Gaming.
I love it.
Go shop at your local card shop and visit Mason and use code RADAR for 5% off. He will not give me anything, but do it.
I don't want lets me know that you're from the podcast, so that's great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So a lot of negative coming out of you right there. We'll dive into that because I do want to share that with the world. Like we were in a Discord the other day, and I've told Squeaks, like, hey, I'm thinking about opening up a shop at some point myself. There's obviously different ways to do it.
Yes.
And he does the same thing. It's like, here's Rudy's video on opening up a card shop. Here's all this stuff. Think about it. And he does it obviously, like, be smart, Radar. Don't do what you usually do and just jump into something. So we'll talk about all that stuff. But what about the pros? I mean, the kind of logical go-tos for opening up a shop to me are increased allocation.
Okay. I'm gonna write these down. So let's see. I'll write these down so I can make sure I'm getting all my benefits here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Increased allocation, and I want you to obviously debate this. Increased access to other card games, obviously Magic, Lorcana now. They don't have
That's fair. That's
brick and mortar only. The biggest thing in my mind which I am probably weighing too heavily, but buying opportunities, people coming in to sell collections and all that. Those would be the top three. And then the personal one, I guess this is an added bonus. I don't have to go anywhere. I can stay at the shop all day long. I don't have to travel. I have an excuse to not do things. So that's a very personal thing that I'm sure not a lot of people would share.
I'll put that at the bottom. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put that at the bottom of the list here.
I'm sure after a while I would get cooped up and want to go places, but in the current state that I'm in, I just want to stay in the same place all day, every day. So yeah, let's jump into these three. What do you think?
Okay, let's tackle the hardest one to debunk, which is the buying opportunities. Yes, awesome things walk in my door any time of day, any day of the week. Cool stuff comes in all the time. I do have a pretty steady stream of people bringing stuff to me because they know no matter what I offer them, I will buy it. I just, if it's card related or something that we deal in. So that is definitely a benefit for sure. You wouldn't have that if you open a store because word of mouth takes a while.
Yeah.
We have the second location now, which is where I'm recording from. And we've been here just over a year. We opened May of last year. So we've been over a year. I'm just now getting to the point where I feel like the local area knows about us, know that we exist, has walked in a few times and been like, oh, I didn't know you guys were here. And even at the old shop that's been there for 5+ years now, people walk in and say, I didn't know you guys were here. Like, there's still, after all the thousands and thousands of dollars in marketing and radio ads and promotions and all the stuff that I've done, people still don't know we exist. And that's a genuine problem that is something that you have to build a base for. It doesn't just, you don't just open a store and then they flood into your door every day of the week. It takes a long process of people getting used to you being there, thinking of you as an option instead of like GameStop or somewhere else, a pawn shop, something like that, somewhere else so they can take stuff. That type of top of mind stuff takes years and years and years of being entrenched in the community to actually build and have a good client base that brings you stuff or buys and sells to you. I've sold things and I've bought things right back from people, and that type of relationship is kind of crucial. You have your regulars, whether they be buyers or sellers, or sometimes both. It takes a long time to get people to think of you when they go, okay, I need to get rid of this.
Right.
Take it to Cardinal.
Okay.
So that is a genuine plus, though. It does take a while, but it is a genuine plus. So I will give you bonus points for that.
Off the top of your head.
Yes.
How much money? No, what percentage of the company's business runs off of those types of dealings? Because we're about to get into the allocation stuff. Maybe we could wait. But
so, like, you're talking like my regular customers? Is that what you mean?
The inventory coming in from outside people, not your distributors.
Yeah, singles is like 80%. We open very little. We have been opening more here lately, but a lot of our singles have been, people come and go out of the hobby all the time. People buy collections and they sell them off, or they'll forget they had them, or, the old stories of, kids went off to college and then bring them in and to sell them.
That's still happening.
Yep. That's how I got a first ed jungle box one time. So that was pretty sick. Stuff like that.
All right. So that's pretty crucial. That's a big number.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if I opened up a store that was by appointment only, I would probably lose out on quite a bit of that opportunity because
if you're putting out feelers and advertising and reaching out and putting on the the Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, that kind of stuff, you may be a little bit of traffic. And, when we were shut down with the pandemic, that was basically all we had. So
right.
Yeah. That'd be okay. That wouldn't be too bad.
Okay.
But that is just sidebar. That is what I tell people to kind of dip their toes into. Yeah. Most people want to go and open up a card store and have, a couple thousand square feet and all this stuff. Opening like an office or office space for people to come in, at least have a place for them to sit down and deal and interact with you with. That's definitely a starting point to kind of dip your toe in to see if there's a clientele, or you can build clients up to have a customer base that things to
Yeah,
do
a
again.
lot of these new people are taking in investment from outside people to build these stores, to make them
Sure.
experiences, to make them have these VIP rooms, have all this area, and it just seems so idiotic to me.
Yes.
Because the first thing you said was, or one of the things you said was not to take on a whole bunch of debt, and technically taking investment from other people is a variation of debt in a way. Um,
Yes.
so
The
that's
pros and cons there is that obviously you can hit the ground running and have a big beautiful store right off the bat. You don't have to worry about, I don't know, like we bought fixtures off, secondhand and stuff. Just we didn't have the money to put into gondola shelving and slat wall and that kind of stuff. We just
mhm.
whatever we could find is what we use to throw our store together. So you'd have a leg up on that, and you'd have nice signage and stuff like that that you would definitely benefit from having a nice investor or investment put into it. But uh, more money can be more problems in that you can buy a lot of allocations, buy a lot of product, and then what if that product sinks and it doesn't do well? And it's like so many Pokemon and Magic sets where it's pre-ordering on TCG Player for and after fees you'd be making less than what you paid for it.
Mhm.
That's a situation that is a real reality right now. So
It was Scarlet and
it
Violet. Yeah,
cannot be
it's rough.
a great idea just because you know smaller risks as you build is a lot less scary, at least to me, than throwing $100,000 at something
Right.
and hoping, yeah, this is going to be the next set I'm going to build off of. It
Yeah.
can be scary. That can be a lot of eggs being put in a basket there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely. It's definitely mistakes I've made for sure. Buying a lot of
I mean,
something that didn't actually do too well. So whether it was a single card or a lot of one thing. Um, but you've been doing it 8 years, so you've seen the cycles. It's not like you stop buying one thing just because it might not work
sure,
out. You're
sure.
pretty
Um,
consistent, right?
I've learned a lot of lessons, but I still make plenty of mistakes. I remember the painful times of having 500 Battle Styles ETBs just sitting in cases that I couldn't sell, and I was underwater on and wouldn't even sell on TCG Player again. Like after shipping fees, you're losing money.
Yeah.
I've sold Fusion Strike booster boxes for $70, just try to get cash flow back. Yeah, it's this is new things that new products that are relatively new that we've had issues, and you trying to make a bet and then sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
So having options and places to move that stuff is good.
Right.
But if you're opening a brick and mortar and saying, "Hey, I want the next Pokemon set. I'm going to put $100,000 into it," probably not a good idea. Probably not good.
Yeah.
Let's ease into it. We'll ease into it.
Yeah. It's a very cash heavy
Very
business.
like it's to the point where I have credit cards that have limits, and $4,000 used to be a big purchase for us. Now I'm buying $40,000 worth of product.
Yeah.
At any given release, and then you have multiple releases in a month, and that can be taxing on all these. Just trying
Yeah.
to keep the kind of cash flow going, and that type of
Right.
capital available it can be rough.
Yeah. Even for myself now, I'm just online. I've started to try to ramp up my allocations by ordering more, getting some of the crap that people don't want, so I can get more booster boxes.
Sure.
My business is in Michigan. I'm currently living in Dallas, so I can't get access to it. It just sits, unfortunately. So I just have every new set that comes out, I'm spending 10 grand, whatever, 15 grand,
Sure.
and it sits. Big cash flow problem. So I've upped my credit card limits. I've actually recently got a credit line, a business credit line through my bank, and
Sure.
it gives me more room to work with to make sure I can pay the distributor and continue building that relationship and giving myself more time to sell things in order to maintain doing this. Not the smartest thing to do, but thankfully I'm in a position where I can do it for now and
Sure.
for the foreseeable future.
So that's a good thing about it being a hobby is that
yeah,
has to sit there. It's no big deal.
right.
When it turns into a business where you have to make money and you have expenses and the clock's ticking every month, then it gets scary. That's when it gets real.
Yeah, I do have a 9 to 5 that pays me bi-weekly and it pays my bill, so I can do that, right? Like, if I need to stop buying, I'll stop buying and I'll be okay.
I mean, I worked a 9 to 5 even up to 2 years ago. So
wow.
I was putting in over 16-hour days for a long time. Yeah,
so you've been open for 8 years. So you had the shop open for 6 years while you were working a 9 to 5.
Yes.
Were you only open during after work hours?
I worked a job that I didn't have to worry about. Most of my clients don't wake up till noon anyway, so it's okay to be open later in the day. So
that's the other con or a pro of card shops. All of them open up at noon.
Sure. Yeah.
You can sleep in.
We open up at 11, and I feel like that's early. I was like, it can be kind of slow the first couple hours. So that is a perk that you can kind of do other things if you are not be there right at the crack of dawn, and you'd be okay. We can get some stuff done earlier in the day if you need to.
Yeah. So, so moving into allocation there, I am quite limited. With my account, I don't know. Again, I think it's because both I don't spend enough from my history, but also I don't have a brick and mortar. So, do you think if I open up a brick and mortar tomorrow, called my distributor, say, hey, just open up a store, I need to increase my allocation by 100%. Do you feel like that would be they would be more okay, like that would happen? I feel like they would be more inclined to give me that versus some new person. No.
There are some programs or some distributors that do favor organized play stores. So not only would you have to open a brick and mortar, you'd have to have a brick and mortar that is up to the standards to have organized play for all these TCGs. And then you get a little bit of favoritism. Not a whole lot. Like here recently, Lorcana, it's brick and mortar only anyways. But if you order from a place like Southern Hobby is one of the bigger distributors in the country anyways. But if you order through them, your entire first set, it's only going to organized play stores now. So it's all really...
Did I hear that correctly? Yeah. The entire first print run
correct
is going to organized play stores only.
From Southern Hobby. I don't know the other places that are doing this, but Southern Hobby.
There's only 3 distributors, I think, that got Lorcana.
Right.
PhD, which shut me down hard. I have PhD. Southern Hobby and Alliance.
Yes.
Those are the 3.
So it's not just I got to have a business address. It's more to it, unfortunately.
Yeah, because I've been leaning towards, and I know this is frowned upon by a lot of people, but I've been leaning towards getting kind of like that shared type of office space in a high-rise, typical office building.
Sure.
Just to have a physical location that's not a house or something, and have a storefront that, ideally wouldn't have too much foot traffic and would be a lot safer, being in a shared space that's only accessible at certain hours. But
okay.
So if I did that, I'd lose. I more than likely would not be able to have space for organized play.
The plot thickens.
More cons.
Right. That's there's always different hurdles.
Yeah.
And once you think you're like, oh, I can just do this, it's not that easy. If it was that easy, everybody else would be doing it already.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing is like this business in general is very much there's already somebody that's doing it bigger than you, cheaper than you, faster than you. You're already starting behind. So if there's any sort of loopholes or opportunities there, they go away instantly. This industry is so optimized already for all these bigger fishes out there, these bigger businesses, that it's very difficult to even get a foot in.
Yeah, I've gotten to meet some of these individuals and businesses at that level who have been or have built a relationship with these distributors for 20 plus years.
Yeah, that ain't me. But it's not me. Like I'm down that list quite a ways. So,
and even if you did have enough money to, make a few waves, these people have more money, and they're going to be sure that they maintain their power, I guess.
And it's in the distributor's best interest to take care of the longer lasting clients because they're more time proven.
Right.
Than somebody that's new that says, "Yeah, I got $1 million to throw at this. Just give me whatever you can."
Yeah.
It's not in their best interest to do that. So, yeah.
What was the third thing I said? You read it. You
wrote it down, we had increase allocations, which we already talked about. That's not really a thing. Let's scratch it off.
Shut down.
Buying opportunities. We talked about that. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
You could do magic.
You could do magic. Oh, we kind of talked about that, but not in greater detail. Yeah, you could do magic. You could do Lorcana. How does that?
Magic that typically at release is below the cost already on TCG Player and on eBay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Because of the bigger fish who are doing it bigger, faster.
Correct. And there's just, I'll be honest with you, there's just some people that just are bad at running businesses and they think that they can just keep running at a loss and it's going to be okay because eventually a big set's going to hit where they can make all that money back and more.
Ooh.
And it's getting to be where it's just not that way anymore.
Really?
It's just like,
why is that?
Let's buy into Scarlet and Violet. Go heavy in that so that the next set I'll be okay on. Oh, Paldea Evolve. Let's go heavy on that so on the next set we'll be okay. Oops, I'm sorry.
You'll hit though. Like there hasn't been a year where there hasn't been a banger set, right?
Sure, but is it going to recoup all that loss that you just made for 3-4 consecutive sets? That's what the situation is, and you got to keep buying, not just because you can't just buy booster boxes when the reprints hit. You got to buy the build and battle bundles, and you got to buy the Battle Academy, and you got to buy the intro decks, and you got to buy. It's just it.
And that stuff does not sell, no matter how low you put it.
Not for somebody that's in a high rise like you're planning.
Not a chance.
You got to go downstairs and give those out to the kids walking by. It's pretty much your only option to get rid of them.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. Is the cycle of all these guys that got in and thought it would be great and we're gonna make money and we just got to build up our allocations. Just keep maxing it out. And we'll just keep growing. It's getting to the point where even at jump, you're losing money. Even at day one, where you have that product in your hand, you can already go to sell it, and you're at a loss already.
So the great flood of modern Pokemon hasn't even started yet. That's what you're saying.
Now we're getting it. Now we're getting the talking notes are catching up now.
Get the pocketbooks ready. Have some cash when you can buy Paldea Evolve for $50 a box.
Sure. Yeah. Potentially that could be a thing. People talk about the artificial floor distribution price, whatever it is, right? There's always, it can't go below $95 because that's what you pay for it at distribution. Nobody's going to sell it for below that. It's already selling on TCG Player for below that after you take out the fees.
Gosh.
If you think people are smart enough to not lose money, you are incorrect. People are losing money every day in this business.
This is a scary conversation for the listeners. Let's hope.
Oh, I sorry.
No, it's.
But you're asking. This is
good. No, this is
the. Again, this is the type of things that I have experience in. I've done it. I have lost.
Yeah.
I have lost even in the great gains of the past couple of years. I have lost on sets too. So, but hey, maybe you'll be different out there.
Maybe. I mean, think about it. The industry has changed quite a bit. There's a lot of opportunity in live shopping and box breaks, pack rips.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
sure.
the amount of money that I hear people make, through TikTok and whatnot and wherever.
Yes.
It's absolutely absurd to me. I don't understand it. I don't. First of all, I don't believe the numbers that are thrown at me until someone actually shows me. But like, some people are claiming to be making tons and tons of money off of this stuff, mainly because of the gambling games and the scummy practices of what this is, right? The bounties and the spin wheels and the mystery packs, which there's a way to do that stuff better, not perfect. But the way that it gets done, just to me, in most cases, is probably the only reason why they're making money. They're selling $25 slabs and $50 mystery packs.
Yeah, I mean, at release, I'll sell and do some box breaks of new stuff, just through my website. Or I was doing Whatnot for a little while.
Yep.
Not to, I mean, a while ago, but
I worked at Whatnot at one point. Like, Whatnot's a flawless app. There's just a lot of bad eggs out there that make this stuff bad. I've done mystery packs myself. Like, I'm not hating completely on this stuff, but
and that's something that I would love to, do more and type of engagement and free advertising and growth opportunities that there would be. But if you open a brick and mortar, you're sitting behind a desk and babysitting counters all the time.
Right, but a lot of these new stores are, they're opening up the brick and the shops, but they got stream rooms in the back, and they got people running that 24/7. Is that not something that you have considered or thought about doing?
I just don't think that is a sustainable business model.
Yeah,
maybe on top of a brick and mortar, sure, but it just becomes, at that point, it's just a dumping ground for you to get rid of stuff, for you to break things down, for you to refine things down to where you're taking the bad and turning it into not necessarily a good, but just like an okay. It's okay. We're breaking it even over here.
Yeah.
I don't know what long term looks like for pack breaking. I do believe there is a genuine market for it. It is genuinely enjoyable to watch. But I think there is definitely a bloat in that category. And again, what's going to set you apart, what's different, is really what's going to make or break the people that last, into the going years, when all this becomes, again, booster boxes aren't selling for MSRP anymore. They're not selling for above MSRP anymore. When is the next time we'll see a great set like Evolving Skies again? Right. Potentially never. Like, there could never be an opportunity like that where people are going to be foaming at the mouth to open up packs.
I mean, that took a while too. I mean, it wasn't like Evolving Skies went crazy right off the bat. It was always fun to open, but it really started to peak, a year and a half after release?
Sure.
Or explode, not peak. I don't know what the peak will be. I have that same feeling, this like bloated feeling about all this pack breaking. Like, again, it's very entertaining. I will be doing it myself again, I'm sure.
Sure.
It's just getting to a point where it's getting so big, it's scary.
Right.
Where these businesses are literally building warehouses with 20 stream rooms or however many stream rooms. It's overly saturated. They're pushing the price of all this stuff too high because they're sucking money out with all these gambling games and stuff like that. So a lot of people are just losing money and not spending it the more traditional way, where it was easier to recycle it back into the hobby.
Right.
What's happening is really sucking out a lot of money.
Yeah, and then we get to the same issue again. Just like they're doing it bigger than you, they're doing it better than you, they're doing it cheaper than you, faster than you. You're already behind.
Right. All those guys, they have deals with Whatnot. They have deals with eBay Live. They have deals with whoever. And they're buying so much more product, so they're getting it cheaper. But like you said, the scary thing is they're locking in probably 3-year, 5-year leases on much bigger locations than a typical card store. They have 20 employees who are streaming every week, every day. So the costs, their expenses has just like gone through the roof. So if one little piece falls apart, it's going to be a huge bottom out for those guys. For you, keeping it a more tight-knit group of people, I mean, opening up a second shop is a risk, obviously, but
that's scary enough.
If a bad set comes out, you don't fall as hard or as fast because of the way that you're building the business.
Well, and we also we don't just do cards. We do video games. We do tabletop stuff. We do Gundam models and board games and anime figures and stuff. It's all the stuff that, again, depending on what's doing bad or what's doing good, you kind of lean into those markets a little bit, try to go a little bit heavier on the stuff that is performing well, and it kind of makes up for things that maybe are in a slump or are oversaturated, or there's issues getting product with shortages and things. What if you get into these big businesses and then we get into production issues again with like Pokemon, where you can't get anything?
Mm-hmm.
Then what do you do? That's. I like the business model of having a what they call a hybrid store with people that are
diversification.
Kind of just having a lots, again, all things gaming under kind of one roof, as opposed to just Pokemon cards. I don't think a store that just sells cards is financially viable in a brick and mortar anymore. It'd be very, very difficult. It'd have to be in a very small niche situation and very hyper focused on profitability. Otherwise, I just don't think it's there. I just don't think the cash flow is there for just cards. You'd have to be doing so much in singles, and I think the processing power that you would require to do all those things to be profitable, it'd be very difficult.
It's doable. It's just a lot of stress, a lot of work. So, do those figures sell? I like
Sure.
Going into the stores and seeing these huge figures, these $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 figures. I've never seen someone walk out with one.
Well, those bigger ones, they kind of serve as display pieces as much as they are. If you happen to sell one, that's awesome. Yeah. Like I have a big in my second store. I have a big Arcanine, like a big plush Arcanine that I got from Pokemon Center.
Yeah.
At the time, it was like $450 on the website, but now they're not in production anymore, so it's like $800 to $1,000 online. If somebody wants to come in and give me $1,000 for it, absolutely.
Right.
Come in and buy it. But
you bought that at retail when it came out. Are you getting the figurines, these big figures, at distributor cost?
You can. The margins aren't fantastic for a lot of figures.
Gotcha.
They can be, you could be paying 80% for some of those bigger ones for sure. But it is nice, nice little. If you make a $50-$80 off of a $500 figure, that's okay. It's not bad.
I mean, they're definitely some of the best parts of stores. Looking at those things, it's super cool.
It's fun. It's
look
cool
great.
To have. Yeah.
Okay. And then tabletop stuff. I know that's that's at distribution level. I can buy a bunch of that stuff, I think, as well, unless they have rules with brick and mortars. I don't think they do.
I don't think anything does, other than like the wargaming games, like Warhammer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we can sell D&D stuff. That's but it's also at Target, so that's the the other battle.
How big is that part of your business versus cards?
It comes and goes. It's the movie came out here recently for D&D, so that kind of had an uptick again. Mm-hmm. When Stranger Things was popular, and every time a season comes out, it kicks up gets big and popular again.
Final season coming soon, right?
Yes. So
and then probably a movie at some point.
In my position, I'd love for them to just make that forever, because that is definitely...
I think they will. I mean, looking at like a movie like It, looking at It, they're perfectly set up to have these kids grown up and coming back to what's the town called where they live.
I don't know about this one.
I'm gonna
fail this quiz.
But this is a perfect like that series, that IP is set up so perfectly to bring all those characters back as adults, teenagers, adults.
Right.
There's a lot to work with there. So,
right.
I mean, final season, they say, of this arc, I'm guessing, and then movie come in, whatever else. There's a lot to work with
as gaming becomes more normalized and more mainstream and more pop culture. All those things just get more and more secure, and you kind of do become. You start going from a game store to kind of like a more like pop culture store. We sell like anime snack foods and like Hello Kitty crackers and just stuff like that people will recognize and see, and just it's part of the experience as well. Is going in and buying Japanese foods and buying all these drinks and things that are different flavors of stuff that are based off of animes. That's all part of the experience of coming into stores now too. It's very much a a destination and something that is enjoyable just to walk through.
Yeah.
And that's type of environment that you have to promote is giving people a reason to keep coming in, not just whenever they want to buy or sell something from you, but just on a weekly basis. Or maybe when they walk through, buy a little trinket of something, or one of the little like remit figures, or a plushie, or a sitting cutie Pokemon thing, stuff like that. That's the type of stuff that makes it more sustainable, is having those little like touristy. I wouldn't say touristy just because that's kind of what it is, just a walking tour through basically like a mecca hall of just cool anime and pop culture stuff. That's really what we have become, and that's the type of stuff that we lean on to pay the bills and kind of cover all the costs for that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the things that we've been moving towards now, is trying to have more premium drinks and premium snack foods and stuff like that. Try to make it more of an experience and kind of help our margins out, as opposed to just having a regular bottled water and canned soda in there. Try to do it, give more of an experience and more of a reason to come out and play at the stores. That's kind of a
more welcoming moving towards to a wider demographic for sure.
Yeah.
How big is your shop, or both shops?
The first location is 7,000 square feet. There's 5,000 of retail, which is on the upper end of what a store that size, or a game store, should be. Way too much space if you just want to do starting out. But it's cheap. We got it cheap, and we got a good lease deal. How
much
there.
do you pay? Is that a question you won't answer?
Remember, I'm down here in Kentucky, so it's
right.
It can, and in not a fantastic part of town.
Okay.
It's
that's
cheap.
The thing. Okay.
Way too cheap.
Okay.
But now my second store we have, I think, 1,300 square feet, a lot smaller.
That's more.
Try to jam more stuff in here, but
yeah, that's a lot more normal. I feel like 1,300 square feet. Yeah.
And it's 3 times more expensive than the 5,000 square foot store per square foot.
Right.
The leases are about the same. Actually, the lease here is more expensive for a quarter of the space. So yeah, it's
okay.
But we're in a great part of town. We have and kind of splurged on the fixtures and things, made it nice.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful store. I like it a lot.
How's it going? Is the second store going well?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, a year in, I feel like we're getting to the point now where we have people coming in weekly and regularly, and coming and playing games, and you can come in at any day of the week and kind of find a bunch of people playing.
So it's not really like
how long it's taken, but
it's not really like leaning on the other store anymore financially.
No, not quite as heavy.
Right.
It's standing on its own, at least. Yes, for sure. I was actually surprised last time I looked and said, "Man, we're not doing too bad out there."
Yeah.
In a quarter of the space, that's not too bad. We're doing okay.
So how many employees do you have?
I just added 2. So hold on, I got to add. Counting me and my partner, we're at.
You have 14. A business partner.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a business partner and then 12 other, I'm guessing, hourly wage employees, or do you have any full-time store managers, or is that your?
No, I don't have nobody on salary. They're all hourly employees. But
so that's like you. So are you 2 split up between each store, or is your business partner not involved?
He does a lot of the bookkeeping and the office work and HR stuff, and he also does repairs, which is also a nice supplement to our business, as well as doing console repairs and computer repairs and stuff like that. So that's awesome, and definitely helps the books out a lot too. And I do more of the front end stuff. I do most of the ordering. I do a lot of the kind of like, I call it like janitorial work, but it's stuff that needs to be done around the stores, and things that need to be worked on, or ordering fixtures and just stuff like that. That's kind of more what I do and what I focus on, which is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy building out stores and
so
doing that type of stuff. So
yeah, I mean, so would you say I mean, how much of your time are you spending any time at all, like behind the counter dealing with people, or is it you're in the back room ordering from distributors, setting up your
Uh,
store, buying new things like that, looking at
yeah,
eBay, taking care of online stuff?
yeah. On the weekends, I fill in for the manager here that works Monday through Friday. So I work the weekends.
Okay.
Yes, the owner is working the weekends. 8 years after owning a business, think about that too when you want to open up the store. Cover for him, and then I do. I go to the main store and do stuff out over there a couple days a week as well. So I work a full 40.
Okay.
But as far as like being in front of customers, it's probably about 20 hours. Yeah. So it's not nothing too strenuous, but
Okay. So you're not like killing yourself over this. You're at a pretty good.
I don't know. My hairline kind of tells otherwise, but if you say so, we'll say that it's no. I mean I work probably in store. It's a 40-hour work week, but at
Yeah.
home I'm constantly looking at distribution. I'm going through
Yeah.
numbers. I'm making graphics for events that are coming up and stuff like that. So it is a
What kind
constant
of
thing that you're keeping on top of for sure.
what kind of events are you doing? Like just like in-store events, or you
Just
going to do event
just
at shows?
if the new set comes out, of course, got to plan on like pre-release and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Certain games, the Bandai games, do like store championships where you have like a monthly bigger event than just the weekly events. So there's if you want to do like a 1K or a win a case or something like that when a new set comes out, stuff like that. That's all stuff that planning and organizing and crunching the numbers to see what entry has to be to make it work and that kind of stuff. So that in itself, organizing and planning events is its own beast. It's not something that just happens.
Right.
People just don't walk into your store on the weekends with decks ready to play. There is planning involved that you have to actually put down on paper and tell people and kind of entice people to
Right.
come into the store.
So are you doing any like mall shows, any local vending?
We'll do some of the local like conventions, like anime conventions and stuff like that. We'll do
Okay.
and kind of end out of those, but nothing too crazy as far as that.
Yeah, because you can't leave the shop. You gotta
Yeah.
be nearby all the time.
I mean, CollectCon Charlotte will actually be driving our van down there and having a pretty good spread down there. So
Oh, you're
that'll
going
be
to
cool.
Charlotte?
Yeah,
Sweet, I'll be there. We'll get to meet in person.
absolutely. I hope
Fantastic.
so. Hope we can go grab a beer. That'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds great. Awesome. Okay, cool. I didn't know you were doing that.
Yeah. So that's the first one that that's the furthest we've ever gone
Okay.
to vend. So we'll kind of show out and bring some of our best stuff
Good.
to Charlotte for sure. But
What
that's
is-
something I'd like to do more. I'd like to have somebody cover me here, be like the
Right.
weekend manager, and then I can
Go
be
to
freed
shows.
up to like do shows and stuff. That'd be awesome.
Right.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, but the buying opportunities at shows are pretty great.
Sure, absolutely.
So, what is some of your best stuff? Are you grading a lot as a business, or are you really dealing in the turnaround time of singles as quick as possible and what you buy?
I have dipped my toes into grading. I've done a couple submissions with PSA for sure.
Okay.
Because
Because many stores don't.
No. People think that game stores are just grading stuff. I will tell you a vast majority. I'm talking like 80%. It could be higher. They don't grade. They don't know anything about it. They don't want to deal with it. And again, it's because we care about the turnover. We want to get that money back out of an item so we can put it into something else. It's the constant churning of cash flow is what we're worried about all the time. So when you walk into a game store and you see that they have slabs and you go, oh, well, I'm not going to look at their singles. They probably grade their own stuff.
Right. That hurts.
More than likely, it's not the case.
Yeah. Well, so again, we're good friends with Squeaks and Dan and Nick.
I know of them. Yes.
And
no, I love them. They're great guys. Yes, I love them all.
They built businesses on grading cards.
Man, the dream.
So why? So does that really is that turnaround time, that lack of churning inventory and I guess potential loss of people being interested in your singles, is that enough to not want to emulate what they're doing?
it's not as prohibitive as it used to be back when turnaround times were so awful. Now it is more reasonable to get a card back in 2 or 3 months, or if you send it to CGC a month, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, there is a lot more opportunity there for people that do get. Again, I get beautiful raw cards on the regular basis that I could send in at any given time for sure. But it is, yeah, like, do I want to have that money trapped into a $200 card for 3 months, or do I want to take that $200 and flip it 6x in that same amount of time?
Well, that's where we can help each other out, I guess. You send me your beautiful raw cards, I'll pay you, and I'll grade them and make money that way.
No, sorry, I've been enlightened.
There's
I've
way
seen the
too many,
light.
way too many people ahead of me on that one.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think. But there is definitely. I tell people all the time. If you have a local store that has a good selection of singles, go check them out. Go in there and look at. That's the great thing about buying in person as well, is you can look at the card yourself and flip it over and see the condition of it and whether or not. Sure, it may not be eBay low, on these things, but if you know it's going to get a 9 or 10, why not pay a little bit more?
Yeah,
the people really sleep on that, and I think that's a good place where things aren't optimized. People can't be on top of every game store in the country and picking off singles that they're going to grade. There is opportunity there. So
yeah, I mean, I built
definitely a chance for people to make money off of.
I built great relationships with my local shops in Michigan, and I was sure to curate that relationship in that way, and also spend a lot of money with them so they knew I was serious.
Yes, and they love you for it. They don't hate you for it. They love you for it.
Yeah, first thing they call me, something comes in, I got first dibs, and that's an opportunity there. So, making friends, and sometimes you don't want to do it on a friendship level. You want to do it on an actual business level, so it's more serious and more consistent. Huge opportunity there, massive opportunity.
Absolutely.
Can't say that for one of the game stores that I talk with. He doesn't call me. I don't know why.
Well,
he's got a little bit of an ego on him, but hey, he's been doing it for like 40 years. He's successful. He doesn't need me, so I understand.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of these guys, they're so stuck in their ways, and that's a huge part of the business as well. Is that distribution just in the past couple of years have changed and modernized more than they had in the past 30 years.
Yeah.
Just because of how demand has peaked. But since then, it was more the same. As they've operated the same way since the mid 90s for a lot of the stuff. And the stores that exist, that's why they don't grade. That's why they don't go into different games. And when Pokemon popped off, there's still stores that say, I don't stock Pokemon. I don't want to worry about it. I'm just Magic. I'm a Magic store. Yeah. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh store. That's crazy to me. That's insane.
They're doing fine.
They're out there, and they're doing fine, and they're, okay, that's cool. There are people that are stuck in their ways, for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've gotten close with a lot of store owners and been able to sit down and talk with them a lot, and that have done it for 20, 30, 40 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just met another one recently who's ready to sell out. He's built up 12 storage units of stuff, and it's just over the years.
Should you be saying this? Are you?
No one knows who it is. And it's like, you spend time building up all these purchases from things that come with the store, buying out other stores because
so much stuff. Like my back room is insane.
Is that all you're at right now? Is that the level you're at? Is your back room? Do you not have the storage units yet? Are you? It's different now though, because things are so expensive. Talking to these guys who were doing this 10, 20 years ago, they're buying tons of stuff for nickels for nothing. They're like buying out stores for 10, 20 grand. Now people are buying out stores for 200, 300 grand. So the numbers have changed, and it's not as realistic to see that happen. But
definitely, yes.
Well, what level are you? I mean, you're building that up, right? That's the retirement plan.
Yeah, in the boom of the past couple of years, we definitely amassed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Since then, we have had a better focus on, and having two stores helps too. Kind of like have us go through our backlog of stuff, but there's still so many consoles back there and stuff that boxes I don't know what's in them. Yeah.
That's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. Putting stuff away, not knowing what's in them and forgetting about it.
Yeah.
That's like one of the industry secrets that people don't talk about enough.
Just lose things.
Just lose things
and then find it later.
And find it later.
You'll be up.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
It's maybe not it won't happen always, but it's happened for me. It's happened for a lot of people, I think.
It's happened to me.
When
the pandemic happened, we pulled all of our cards out of the cases, and I put them in just the black bottoms to like a ETB, like one of these little guys.
Yeah.
And I lost the fire one for a Pokemon. I didn't know where it went. It was gone for probably 6 months, and that's where all my Charizards and all my expensive stuff, and then all that stuff popped off, and I was better for it, having not sold those Charizards for $40 a piece or whatever they were going to go for before the boom. So it's happened to me for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I got to that point was buying too much, and also just moving around the country way too much.
Yeah,
because I used to be obsessed with it. I'd be paying attention to everything I was buying, what the prices, what the value was, and I'd sell it as soon as it hit like a certain percentage point, and then I'd regret it, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year later, when I wish I had just forgot about it. But I mean, but that's the thing for you. For owning a store, you said churning is one of the most important things, and you could probably make more money selling the same card 10 times than one person can selling it once, holding it for 10 months.
Yeah. I mean, you know how many Moonbrons I've probably sold raw?
How many?
For 10s, and they're just gone.
How many have you sold? Do you know?
If I had to guess, put a number, probably 60. That were gradable.
Times
10s. Don't do the math. Come on, John. Don't.
$30,000. $30,000 of Moonbryons. When you could have graded, what's the percent? Where's Dan? Dan, what's the Gem 10 rate on that?
Look, it's not always in the best interest. Obviously, that's an outlier, right? But I've also sold tons of cards that were expensive at the time and then crashed in price. So that's how it goes. That's
the business. That's the business.
It's business.
So, what more about you? I don't know you. We just talking about cards in the shop.
Sure.
Why did you open up a shop in the first place 8 years ago?
Part of it was that when I got back into Pokemon, I got married and inherited kids. So and they were playing Pokemon. So I had my old collection, of course, but we were playing the game and going to stores. And
how old are you?
They eventually. What?
How old are you?
I am 35.
35. Okay, prime age for Pokemon.
Sure.
Yeah. You were aware of things going on back in 1999. I was too young.
Yeah.
I was 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, following my brother, just doing what he was doing. I wasn't conscious of like what this was. I was just enjoying it. You were 14.
I was sitting in the back seat of my mom's car with a base set 2-pack and pulling the Charizard. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That happened?
I remember that. Yeah, very vivid.
That's awesome. Congrats.
I know, that's sick.
That's really cool. Do you still have that one?
No, it's gone. I have no idea where. It's gone. No.
Yeah.
I wish I did now, but oh well. But when my kids got into it, we actually went to a nationals one year when it was in Indianapolis, and they went and played a national. So they were pretty serious into it. So we had a pretty good collection at that time, and they moved on to other things. And so I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, I got all these cards. What the hell how do I get my money back?
What era? What era of cards is this?
This was like black and white, Plasma Freeze, Plasma Storm.
Okay.
That type of
gold border, secret rares, and introduction to full arts.
Yeah. I love that era. It's fun. It's a fun time. Super hard pulls. The booster boxes back then were brutal. They were terrible.
I've been buying PSA 10 Reshiram and Zekrams from the black and white full arts. They're so cheap.
Oh yeah,
it's stupid.
But I was going on eBay and I was looking them up. I'm like, okay, some of these have value still. I can sell these off, and I was doing that. And I had my old collection. I was, selling through that and trying to do some stuff. And I was like, okay, well, shoot, that's easy. That's a nice little side hustle I could do. Maybe I could buy other people's collections and get into it. So I started doing that. Doing the whole Craigslist buying and meeting up in sketchy places and parking lots and buying collections of cards and just flipping them, just paying cash to people and then flipping them on eBay. And that was pretty fun, pretty good for a while.
Was it just Pokemon?
Yeah, just Pokemon. Yeah, that's kind of my wheelhouse.
You weren't doing Magic as a kid. You weren't doing.
No, I didn't do anything of that. Video games a little bit.
That's your thing. Okay.
As and
what was your?
Been like 2005, 2004, somewhere in that range. So
what was your system? What was your prime system? As like your favorite?
GameCube was.
Yes.
I remember booting up Smash Brothers Melee for the first time in my little room on my 7-inch TV and just crying because the graphics were so amazing to me. Like, yeah,
it's still the greatest game of all time.
I have thousands of hours into that game. No joke. Like,
I love this.
After school, till dinner time, every day, for years of my life. Yes.
Were you good? Could you wave dash? Could you?
Well, I mean,
I never learned.
My kids were a lot better than I was.
Okay.
Once I got, but I was okay. I wasn't bad. Peach was my main.
Okay. Did you ever play in tournaments or anything?
Yes.
Oh man, see that's what I missed out on that in my childhood. I mean, I'm obsessed with the documentary. I just talked about this with the previous guest, Z&G, before this.
I'm following up to Z&G.
Yeah.
God, that's a low fall we just did. But okay, go ahead.
And he's obsessed with Melee too. He's got a few copies.
Yes.
But yeah, I love the documentary, and I feel so. I could have been a part of that era, playing the game, going to tournaments. I mean, my life would have turned out completely differently, but I would have loved to have been a part of that.
Yeah, it's a very pivotal game for a lot of people. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people have great fond memories of it.
What other GameCube games? Melee? I'm guessing Metroid.
I mean, Metroid Prime, huge.
Is there one that really stands out though outside of Melee?
I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot. I had 64, and I played Mario Party and Mario Kart all the time, and Double Dash. Double Dash. That was intense.
Which one's Double Dash?
That's on the GameCube. Where you have two people, and you'd switch carts. One would drive, and one would throw the items, and then you'd switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't play that much, but yes. I played only Melee, and then I played sport games, NBA Street, NBA Live, that type of stuff.
I had a brother, so I had a built-in Double Dash partner.
That makes sense. I had two brothers, so there was one left out. He's usually me, I guess. I was the youngest boy, so Melee was perfect for that setup. Like, we would just play all day long, the three of us. Animal Crossing too. My parents had to strictly set up 1 hour at a time for each of us to play Animal Crossing, because we all lived in the same town.
Wow.
And we'd all sit and watch each other play. And at one point we had to switch the morning shift, because whoever was the first one to play would get all the fossils, because there were only 2 fossils a day. And then there were rules implemented of okay, you can skip one day while you're playing so that you could get fossils, you could do other stuff, find the money rock, do whatever, right? So there was all these rules we put in place to play Animal Crossing. It was absurd. That's
hilarious. It's great.
But it was great.
But yeah, all those, for so many of us, and the 30-somethings and the late 20s people, that's sort of pivotal times. We that's our nostalgia.
Great times. Pikmin. Gosh, Pikmin.
Sure. Yeah.
Pikmin's big. One.
Yeah.
I need to get those.
That's the other part of the store too that we sell.
Is it all vintage games?
NES from PS5. Everything in between those ranges. So
you're not able to get new games in though, right?
We can, but the margins are absolutely terrible. It's not
What are
worth it.
those like?
Uh,
And how? Dude, it's not through like Southern Hobby, right? It's through
no. They have
so like through
there's
Sony.
video game distributors that you can get,
Oh, okay,
and yeah,
that makes sense.
it's like 50 $55 on a $60 game. It's yeah, they're terrible. Yeah, it's not great.
That makes no sense at all. But okay.
Yeah, that's that's a whole nother podcast. We can talk about that, and when you start your retro gaming podcast.
Well, this is supposed to be more than just Pokemon cards. It's all
Oh, okay.
collectibles.
Well then,
It's
yeah.
life. I want to talk about life. I don't know if you've listened to my podcast, but my favorite question I like to dive into is, and I guess we'll jump right into it. Is what is it like doing this as a father? I mean, you said you inherited some kids.
Yeah.
What's it like being
Yeah, I mean,
dad?
growing up, we all have our own like streams of nostalgia,
Yeah.
and that's one thing that's awesome and cool. But then you have kids that you raise, and you have nostalgia for their nostalgia, which is like because you remember the great times that you've had together, and I actually think of like in the pandemic and shutdowns and when Pokemon cards are crazy, there will be people that are nostalgic for going to like big box stores and trying to find Pokemon cards with their dad. There's going to be an era of people growing up that have fond memories of card hunting and Pokemon hunting with their parents, which is that's crazy. But there will be that, and a lot of my business is built off of nostalgia and people's what they grew up with, or just great times they've had with people and friends. And I'd like to think that I am creating my own nostalgia when people come and play in tournaments with their parents, or just with their friends and stuff like that. That is the cornerstone of why you get to be into and build a brick and mortar. That's the goal. Is that's how you measure your success, is by how many people you have come through your doors and enjoy their time there and enjoy spending time there. That's the real victory, and that's not on your the pad of notes either. That's you got to keep track of that yourself, and that's the real thing that you try to build towards, and that's the goal.
I mean, this might be a somber note, but also happy at the same time. I mean, in the childhood store that I shopped at, the owner recently passed away.
Oh no,
Dave.
Yeah.
He was probably close to 80-ish, but I went to his wake, and there were more kids, people my age, there than family, than anyone.
Yeah.
That grew up with the store, which was so cool to see.
Yeah.
I mean, you just started 8 years ago, but those first few kids, the kids you're working with now, like, I mean, I was lucky enough to build a relationship with him later in my adult years because I got back into Pokemon. So you'll have, kids come and go. Many will stay as well, the ones that play especially. But it's, like, to me, it was super nostalgic to go back to that shop. It changed locations at one point, but go back to that shop, see the same owner, build that relationship with him. Like, it was super special. It was really, really cool. And that's something that I guess haven't thought about enough as a reason to do something like this, because it meant so much to me, Dave, and that store, that doing that for a community of people, many generations, not just one, another generation, many generations of kids.
That's
pretty cool.
It's an easy thing to gloss over. Of you are building a game store, but is more so a kind of like it's a community place, a gathering place for like-minded people, and especially for the nerds of the world that are typically not associated with mainstream people, or have issues socializing because of different things going on. It gives them a chance, an experience to go out and go to a place that has people that have something in common with them that they normally would not see in person, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of that is it's very much the social aspect of it, of building a business like this. That's where you win. That's the whole goal at the end of it is kind of, and once you build that, if you have that type of like community place, like a safe haven for those people that are otherwise not welcome in typical society, then you kind of feel like you're doing something. Then you feel like you're a success, and that's a big part of it.
That's amazing. I mean, it's easy to say now, being adults, that this stuff is cool. Being a nerd is cool.
Yes.
It's obviously, I think, a maturity thing and accessibility thing, whatever, but it's still a problem, I would assume, in middle school, high school, elementary school, that being a nerd isn't cool. Like, I don't know. I'm not like keeping up to date with what's going on in the world of social groups in all different areas of life, but I would assume it's still a problem with bullying and all that stuff. So
sure. Yeah.
It being a safe haven for kids to come and find friends and find some sort of thing to get away from normal life is very important. So, I mean, I use this for myself to get away from life. I mean, I'm nostalgic now for my own content that I did years and years ago, and the things that I've done with all the friends that I've built from this community. And, I look back at this 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and feel like that was a super cool time. That was amazing.
Yeah. Isn't that cool that when I think of you, I think of all the podcasts and like this is how I picture you. And I don't know, that's something to be proud of. Definitely.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're here to be a part of it and share. Man.
That's great.
Share your insights on this hobby and this world.
Absolutely.
It's cool. Yeah, I like collecting relationships and friendships and stories of people. I think it's very intrigued how people got to places and got to where they are, who they know that helped them along the way, and it's just really interesting to me. So I can't wait to write a book. That's what Squeak says. To write a book one day about all the things that I've experienced with this hobby and all the people.
No one has had an experience like you throughout all the past couple of years. You have a very unique experience.
Thank you. So
I look forward to reading the book.
All right. Awesome. That's one sale. That's all I need, I guess.
Yep.
So, again, back to the kids a little bit. How old are they?
I mean, I got kids. I have families that bring in and play D&D together.
I'm sorry, your kids.
My kids. I'm sorry.
Your kids.
My kids at the time when they were playing Pokemon were 10 and 15.
Okay, so are they out of it now?
Yeah.
Is this not cool?
Yeah.
They're not bugging you to get new sets and open up a bunch of stuff, come with the store? And...
No, even worse, they love Yu-Gi-Oh now. So now it's just like, oh God, it's like, what?
All right.
I lost them somehow. I don't know what happened.
That's a good thing, though, because I can't imagine, I've got my nephew who is finally starting to open packs. My brother says.
That's the cool
it's
part.
Like, it's cool, but it's also dangerous because I'm going to be giving him cards all the time for his birthdays and stuff. And when he finds out that he has all this stuff in his basement, because that's where I store some things, it's all going to get opened up. So I guess it's a blessing that they don't want this stuff. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any product to sell.
Right. It's true. That's the best part of my employees. I only hire people that spend a lot of my stores. That's how I ensure that they I get a little bit back.
That's the first requirement of.
Yeah. That's how I test their knowledge. Make sure that they know what's up. How much money did you spend on this? Okay, yeah, you're hired. Okay, cool. How many decks of Magic do you have? Oh yeah, you're in. Yeah, okay.
It's not years of experience. It's thresholds of money spent at the stores. Yes. What level of job you get?
Absolutely.
You want 15 an hour?
That is a fact.
Oh, you want 20 an hour? Oh, you spent this. Okay. Yep.
Right.
That's how it goes. That's hilarious. All right. So what's the future then? What are your goals for the rest of 2023? What's like, or even like, what's the crazy idea for Cardinal gaming in the next 5 years, 10 years?
Yeah, I mean I don't know what's going to happen
Do you not think that far
next
ahead?
month, let alone 5 years from now. But yeah, I would love to do more convention stuff, travel more, buy and sell, uh, larger collections, and not to say I haven't bought huge giant collections, but be able to travel more and kind of go out and uh, source a little bit better and source other types of things. Uh, Go to conventions as a buyer and a seller, and type of network that way,
Go on the
and be
hunt.
seen as like a resource and something that, again, to be top of mind when people want to sell a collection, for have them call you up. That'd be great. That'd be huge. Takes a while to get to,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of people ahead of me, but that's part of the
Part of the fun.
It's always been the case. So why change that now?
So you'll continue doing the YouTube and building up the presence there, and
I like YouTube. I do. I don't see it growing anymore.
what are you at?
than
Like
what it
20
probably
some
is.
30,000?
23.
23,000.
Yeah, but if it does, awesome. I do enjoy it. It is a more of like a event piece than it is or has been in the past. I just enjoy doing the videos now. But ultimately, business wise, I don't know if I want to open up more stores necessarily.
Ooh.
Just maybe just do more with what I got and kind of utilize the base that I have and reach out more and do more things abroad, as opposed to, I don't know, again, tying down more and more expenses into other stores elsewhere.
So the one personal pro that I see of staying in one place and not having to go everywhere, you're at that
Yeah.
point where you're wanting to get out and do more away from the store.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's just a side goal.
That's the cool part. If the core stores were self-sustaining and they were doing their own thing, and I could go and like be like a mercenary, go out in the field and snipe some stuff. That'd be the dream. That's the cool part. Then I feel like I'd be successful,
Okay.
and it'd be the grind has been worth it at that point.
Yeah.
If I could, that's what's fun to me.
That's a good goal.
The hunt, the thrill of the hunt, finding things, sourcing stuff. That's where the fun's at. That's where the stuff walking in the door. That's too easy. I want to go out and find it. That's the difficult part. That's the reward.
You're on easy mode with this at this point. He says he's playing hard mode, but he's crushing it.
If this is easy mode, that'd be for bad. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a good goal to have. I think. Yeah. There's a lot of pleasure and I guess you can enjoy life more by being nomadic and having it's more freedom, being able to get up and go as you please, and
or just having the option to. If maybe I don't want to, maybe I just want to go and sort cards all day.
Yeah,
I do genuinely enjoy just going through a box of cards. I do.
Very therapeutic. Very therapeutic.
Yes. It's like you're panning for gold, just going through stuff and going, oh shoot, that's a 50-cent card. Oh boy, I'll put that off to the side.
Well,
am I making money? No, but it's fun.
That's a business model that I don't know if it's dead anymore. I know Dariums used to do this because I used them all the time. Sure. I would send in my bulk to get more evolution boxes because I just wanted to open evolution boxes back when they first came out, and I'd send them everything other than the things I wanted to keep, which were like Charizards. But that's
what they're hoping that you do.
They'd get the crappy EXs, they'd get the hollows, and no, I would keep those. But they'd get some good stuff outside of their 1, 2 cent, 5 cent value of bulk, and then make money on all that stuff that people sent in that is actually worth way more. And I don't see them doing that anymore, or like advertising. I don't see anybody advertising that or doing that. Trade in bulk for product.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's been optimized.
Yeah,
the big boys are doing it, and they've got it on lock. They have outlets. They have better sources to offload it to.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
This world.
I do enjoy the bulk aspect of it. It is fun.
Yeah.
We have two. I don't know if you know this. We have two sorting machines that we have in tandem with TCG Player that pulls cards for us and sorts cards based off our TCG Player pricing and inventory. So that's cool.
How does it do
And
that?
that's
I mean, I've seen it on your. It is on your YouTube somewhere.
yes.
But how
they're called Rokas,
Okay.
and they're awesome little machines that are use little suction cups, and they pick up cards and they sort it for you, and then they put it back in the tray, all organized for you and value sorted, or however way you want to do it.
How sophisticated does it get? You said value sorting. Is it doing it based off of rarity symbols? Is it doing it based off of?
I would assume by image recognition of the cards.
Oh, so you don't do any setup with it.
Yeah.
You just
it just does it.
It just does it. That's not a thing. Somebody set it up.
Oh, of course, yeah, but I don't have to do it. Somebody else did it. I paid for them to do it, so I don't have to do it.
That's the people that sold you the machine did it?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's
set up updates on new sets and stuff, so it'll automatically update, and then
what?
How is this the first time you've heard of this?
This sounds way too sophisticated for a card shop.
I have two of them.
So, is it? You said it's sorting based off value. Is it tied to? Is there software tied to TCG Player and the value of what's being sold on there at the time, and it's sorting?
It looks up the value in real time.
No.
Based off of the picture.
Incredible.
And in half a second, it can tell you the value of it, what it is, and put it in a pile based on whatever parameter you put.
That's amazing. Only English cards? Does it do Japanese?
No, it doesn't do Japanese. No.
Unbelievable.
It does Magic and Pokemon right now. There's a Yu-Gi-Oh machine, but it's...
I need one for Japanese cards.
Yeah. Well, we need a lot... The Japanese is a spot for... Why is there no big store that sells Japanese in the U.S.? That doesn't make any sense to me. You think
it doesn't.
There needs to be like a TCG Player for Japanese cards.
With how popular Japanese cards... I mean, obviously now, but even just throughout the years.
Yeah.
What the heck?
What's going on?
What is happening?
Somebody get on that. Who's doing that?
It's too late now. Everyone's just buying from Japan and paying way too high of prices.
Nah, it's not too late.
Interesting. Yeah, why is no...
I don't know.
Store number
Somebody
3.
on it. Somebody do it.
Cardinal Gaming.
Yeah.
The Japanese edition.
There's opportunity out there. You just have to think of it.
There is. There's opportunities everywhere.
Absolutely.
I'm going to open up a store and sell Dragon Ball Z Score.
You'll be the biggest Dragon Ball Z score in all of Texas.
All the world.
One of one. No, I'm sure there's got to be other people doing it, but yeah.
Oh, no, there's not. I've gone around the entire world and asked for score stuff, and no one has it. I found one store one time in Seattle years ago, and the two owners were like, yeah, we're the biggest score collectors of all time. We have a complete collection, every single card, every single promo. It's like, I'm coming back tomorrow. Bring all of it just so I can look at it. And they brought it out. I looked at the whole thing. It was incredible. They were obsessed with the game. They had tons of it, but they weren't selling it. They were just collectors of it. Because I was probably they said I was the only person that's ever asked for it. So, yeah, I don't think it'll ever be a thing. And apparently, supposedly, this is all speculation, but one of the stores that I went to in Michigan growing up, one of the people that worked there helped create the game. But I never saw any proof. I was like, okay, give me some, like, where are your boxes? I'll buy all of them. Never got any. So,
yeah. But no, there's opportunity out there for niche stuff that caters to a group of people that if
Dead TCG
Japanese Pokemon isn't covered, all that other smaller stuff.
I'll open up a store and I'll call it Dead TCG, and it's just all dead TCGs.
Great.
It's not a good idea. That's what he's saying.
I mean, look, there's plenty of people out there that open stores just to have just a place to hang out and a museum for cool stuff.
But that's not financially smart.
No,
How did we get to this part? Yeah. We went from in the very beginning of this episode, you saying don't open up a store, to being open about people just opening up stores for nostalgia and for fun.
Because that's for the people that are independently wealthy already. So you already have to be a millionaire to do this. But they do exist. They're out there.
Yeah.
There's definitely all types of stores that are not making money and happy to do so.
That's the dream, I guess. Zach wants to open up the museum. Money. So does Jake.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else is going on in your life? Is this all you do? What other hobbies do you have?
I don't have hobbies. This is it. This is all this takes all my focus.
This is your life?
If I'm at home, I'm looking at distribution websites and stuff to order for the store. If I'm driving home, I'm listening to your podcast and other things on YouTube and things like that. This is where the passion is. So this is what I do.
That's amazing. I love it too. This is all I do.
Yeah.
Same thing. I tell myself I like the golf, but I haven't golfed this year. So here we are. Pokemon's it. Cards, nerds, collectibles. I love this stuff.
There's worse things that you could be spending your money on.
Like water.
Sure.
It's good stuff, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Bulk is also a place where there's good opportunity, and it's a grind. But there are people that really do just make a ton of money doing it.
Still,
let me tell you, absolutely.
I thought it was just MJ Holdings and their crappy mystery packs.
Well, that's the thing. They sell it to MJ Holdings. MJ Holdings has to get it from somebody.
That's right.
So there's plenty of businesses out there that sell to MJ Holdings by the pallet load.
God, it's so expensive to ship. It's so heavy. It seems so.
When you have 20 pallets of Pokemon, that's how it goes.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's people to that level. Like I have probably 1.5 million. Well, I have 2.5 million cards in general, just in the back of my store, just chilling. They're just hanging out in 5 rows, stacked halfway to the ceiling.
The storage costs, does it make sense?
I mean,
you just like having it?
I mean, look, there's 50-cent cards in there. I gotta go through it all. I gotta get that. I gotta extract the value.
Oh God.
Yeah, right. That is part of the. Kind of feels like a sunken cost, where you. It's just not. It's not hurting anybody. It's just sitting there.
Okay.
Up against the wall.
It's
not that much square foot.
Yeah.
I got 7,000 square feet back there. It's fine. We're good.
That's okay. All right. Well, Mason, it's been a pleasure getting to know you better and have a nice chat and teaching the world about owning a store, not owning a store. We just started.
Like we only have a few bullet points. We could have went for forever, but that's what my channel's for.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone go watch Card and All Gaming. Subscribe on YouTube. Head over to Instagram. And where else do you do other things? Twitter or anything?
We're on Facebook, but that's for like local people. I have Discord if you want to come.
Discord.
Anybody can come to Discord. Ask me questions. If you want to open up a business, I can crap on your dreams too if you want. Just send me an email, mason@cardinalgaming.com.
If this wasn't enough.
I just want people to be
smart.
Understand that it's not easy. And just be prepared for a long road.
Yeah.
The success rate is pretty abysmal for game stores, but people that do, they're doing okay. You just got to get there. It takes a while.
Well,
a lot of work.
We all appreciate your wisdom, and again, it was a pleasure having you on. Appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on, and I'll see you in Discord tonight, probably.
I mean, probably. I'll be there. Anybody else wants to come to Discord? Yeah, hang out with us.
Awesome.
Have a good time.
All right, Mason. Well, talk with you soon. See you in Charlotte. And is it the weekend? No, it's the end of the weekend. Have a great week.
Hey, you too, man. Appreciate you. Thanks, John. Thanks, everybody.